Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest, ladies and gentlemen. Rangers, you've chosen wisely. This is Jackie Cation. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. The credits, of course, Mike Rickberg composed and sang the opening song, and he will sing again at the end the Mexican Hat Dance, which is actually from episode 1 that Mike Rickberg was on, where he taught me how to use my sound equipment. The other credit, though, no longer need to know how to use my sound equipment because Patrick Brady will fix this audio. Patrick Brady, very exciting. Vilmos fixes my website. This episode, and for the foreseeable future, we're going to have a Vilmos ad. Vilmos does my website. This week, I am in Montana, Great Falls, Montana, for a Judy Carter expo. Another expo. This is my second comedy expo this year. I'm also doing a bunch of shows in Los Angeles, including the Hollywood Improv. And then next week, I'm in St. Louis and Chicago, opening for Maria Bamford. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Let's hear Vilmos' ad, and then let's get into it.
It's Vilmos. If you've heard my name before, it's because I've been taking care of Jackie's website since 2010. I talk to people all the time that feel like they're being held hostage by their web guy. They didn't get the site they wanted, then when they want to make a change, they have to wait forever. That's why my web design philosophy is a simple one. It's your site. You should get what you want. I will take your idea and turn it into the site you've always wanted. Then, if you need to make changes, they will be done promptly. Maybe you already have a site that you need to make changes or additions to. I can do that too. It doesn't matter who created your site, I can still work on it. So take the first step towards a positive website experience. Contact me, Vilmos, at hiredguncoding.com.
Hey folks, Jackie Cation here, sitting in my living room. It's the Dork Forest, and I'm sitting here with Sandra Daugherty. It's such a beautiful name. It's a beautiful name,
Thank
Sandra
you.
Daugherty. Yes. I went Sandra. I like Sandra better. It has more depth. It has more texture, as they say in the worlds. So let's tell people, you have a podcast called Sex Nerd Sandra.
It's true.
On the Nerdist Podcast Network.
Yes.
And Sex Nerd Sandra, with no H, not like Sandra or Sarah or any of this business. It's Sandra.
Yeah, soft A, old world Sandra.
Old world, very nice. And so it is, you can find like Twitter, Facebook, website, all of it.
All of it, Sex Nerd Sandra. I'm at nerdist.com if you want to see a picture associated with the episode. I'm weekly.
And it's a weekly podcast. And I was on it.
Yes, you were.
And we talked, I believe, about married sex.
Yes.
And which, of course, people lining up to hear what's that like?
Well, you were remarkably forthcoming about actually the process of how you met your partner, how you met your husband, and the whole. The whole story was just marvelous. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's fun. And I think, on the Facebook, there's a Facebook Ranger page, Dork Forest Ranger page, and they post other podcasts that I'm on sometimes. They're like, hey, she's talking about something else. And so whatever I'm talking about on somebody else's, I did an entire podcast. These guys have this 7th level, I think it's what it's called, 7th level access or something. And they talk only about the television show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Entirely about the program Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They will weed off and talk about other Marvel stuff. And you're actually going to New York Comic Con this week.
I am. It's true.
To teach a blowjob joke. Blowjob joke? No. Is there a blowjob joke that you want to teach?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's like at least 12 of them. I was actually invited by New York Comic Con because they're taking over the city for the week of Comic Con, and they're calling it Super Week. And so it's different people from pop culture doing pop culture-y things. And so they were marvelous and invited me to teach Boning 101. So it's like a fundamentals of fantastic sex type class.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
People will line up. People will be involved.
It's actually almost sold out.
Does it cost extra? An extra $5 or 10 or something like that?
Anyone can go to these things. They don't need a Comic-Con badge to go to the stuff around town.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of cool that way.
Oh, that is nice because then they don't have to, because to go to things at a Comic-Con, there's lining up.
So many of the lines.
A lot of the lines.
The sleeping in the line.
The sleeping in the lines. And then I just went to I think my current, and don't, I'm not etched in stone, but my current favorite conventions right now is Gen Con.
Really?
Because it is a board game convention, board game tabletop gaming convention, and there's not a lot of lines. Essentially, you meet strangers and play board games and tabletop games with them. So you're not it's not a theater experience. You're not watching a panel.
You're active. You're involved.
Yeah. It's so much more social than anything I've ever seen in my life. So
the thing is, okay, I went on the Jonathan Colton Crazy Cruise.
Oh, did you?
And there was a gaming room, and I really wanted to play, but I also knew that I had very limited time on this boat to do all sorts of things.
Oh, was there others? Because there's a million things to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a constant buffet, and there's the pool, and we're at Jamaica, and and I'm really tired, and there's theater things, so I would need to be like, how long is this freaking board game going to take me?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's, and they tell you right there on the side of the box, they're like 30 minutes. I would add 15. So just because, especially if it's the first time you've played, you got to learn how to play.
Right. I like that part though. I like rule learning.
Well, but it adds a couple of minutes. So, but there's plenty of games that only take, like if you ever get a chance to play Pandemic, everyone dies almost immediately.
I love games like that.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We're trying to stop Ebola, and what happens is we usually fail, and the world ends, and then you laugh and go, "Oh, this game is really hard. Let's play again," because it only took 20 minutes.
Can we play Pandemic? Do you play Pandemic? Like, can we play Pandemic?
We could probably play Pandemic. There's only 3. We could probably play with 3 people. All right. Yeah. It could happen.
I really like games.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's just D&D takes like 7 hours.
Yeah, if you only play once every 5 or 6 weeks, which is what I do, it takes a good 6 to 8 hours. But some people, like Brian Posehn, he plays every week, hour and a half.
Really? He gets everyone together for an hour and a half. It seems like such a waste for LA. Oh, wait, is he in LA?
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. And, but it's not, I mean, that's a couple hours. They probably sit around and, have a beer before. They might go out to dinner after. I mean, but the game itself only takes an hour and a half because they just do the thing. And it's him and Blanket Patch, and I think it's him and Blanket. I don't know who's in their D&D crew, but pretty sure. And Patton, I used to be in it, but, that's how those guys all became nerd friends, is by playing D&D together. Let's talk about your dorkdom. Let's do this. We're 5 minutes in. Let's actually discuss what you like to.
Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I've been thinking about this all week. Really? I'm so excited.
Okay.
But I also am afraid of being so
not excited
obsessive.
Enough.
No, I'm obsessive to a degree.
You can't. Welcome to the Dork Forest. This is the place where you're excited about it. But it is, because I don't know anything about these things. Makeup, fashion, and hair. Things you were not interested in when you were a child, a little baby girl, when we were all supposed to be interested in makeup, fashion, and hair according to society and their mores.
Right, those guys.
But now, those guys. And now, interested. Makeup, fashion, hair.
I'm obsessed.
Why?
So I don't even know where to start. It's,
well, where do you buy your makeup?
Oh, anywhere. I mean, I kind of go to MAC and I kind of go to Sephora, like any of the places where you get to just smear stuff on your face and kind of go, I like it. I don't like, yeah.
Yep.
And then I talk to all the makeup artists.
Okay. So you go to a Sephora or you go to the MAC thing over at wherever and you talk to the people that are working there.
Yes. But I've learned that if you talk to anybody who has a ton of makeup on their face, like bright fuchsia lipstick and like they overly contoured their cheekbones, if I try and get any of their opinions, their eyes have been trained where they can't see regular things and the world that they live in is colorful to a degree that I can't handle.
Right.
So I can never trust them to give me they don't get my sensibility.
It's like a hairdresser. If you don't like the person's haircut, you can't get your haircut by them. Right. How are you supposed to go, oh yeah, that's, I'm going to want that. This is what they think is a good idea. I've never, and I learned that from my stepmother who was a hairdresser. She was like, you gotta go to somebody who you like their haircut. So you try to, when you go up to the MAC counter, you're like, you look at the person and you're like, oh, they seem sane the way or comparable or something.
Well, I mean, it's usually something, okay, let's back up a second. Let's back up. There's so much. Fashion is really the thing that got me into everything because, I'd hear all these really shaming, judgy things as a kid. Like, oh, that was so last year. Like, you remember that phrase? You'd hear it in TV shows and stuff like, oh, that was so last year. Just as this ballet girl.
Randomly, yeah.
Or like that outfit doesn't.
It cut you when you would hear somebody shaming someone else saying that is so last year.
Or like, I don't know. It's like, oh, they were totally flirting with your friend. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to tell when someone's flirting. I don't know how to tell if an outfit is cool or not. Like, right. I don't know.
Sure.
It's Greek. It is a language I do not know how to speak or understand even a little bit.
It's a learned skill, I think, for sure.
Or Mandarin. There's even tones, and then I can't figure out if they're happy, sad, angry. I don't know what's going on because there's an up.
So what made you go fashion?
Well, first there was a lot of, because when I date, if I'm dating a guy, often there's a thing where the girlfriend kind of helps the guy along in their fashion journey.
Right.
Like
that I've read that in Harlequin romances. Yes, that happens.
Well, and for me, I tend to date guys who are really friendly and funny, but tend to be a little bit awkward and kind of just.
They don't have a lot of fashion.
They need a little polish.
Okay.
But the thing is that what will lead me when I help a boyfriend pick out clothes is I'll go, how's my libido doing in this? Like, am I turned on and am I attracted to this person that I am attracted to in this outfit?
So you look at clothing and go, and see the guy in it and go, is that helping my libido?
Is this helping my boner right now?
Okay.
And like, sometimes I'll put something on and I'll be like, I am less attracted to you now. And so then it just becomes a listening to my vibe, how attracted I am to that partner. And then I've started to notice.
What made you realize that was a good bar? Like, cause that's a fascinating way to go. Yeah, that works fashion wise. And because of that, and I can tell that it works fashion wise because I'm sexually attracted to whatever's happening there.
How it worked fashion wise?
How did you come to that realization? That's neat.
I think my terror about fashion decisions, because I also went to a private school in elementary school, so you didn't get to really express yourself through clothing. And so when I went to public school,
uniforms.
Public school, I was like, oh, now I have to make these decisions, and it was really actually kind of traumatic. It felt like there's a right choice and a wrong choice. Mm-hmm. There's good, bad. There's winning and losing. And what I kind of learned through the process of working with a boyfriend is that it's actually there's no right. It's more what feeling I want to create.
Right.
And so, like, I teach, and I have to be really conscious when I teach workshops around sexuality, not to choose an outfit that might stimulate arousal.
Okay.
So I want to create more of like a cute or like, oh, isn't she adorable? Kind of like I'll kind of choose a vibe so that I seem more approachable and less intimidating.
Okay.
Like I'm more aware of emotion.
Okay. With the clothing.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's been happening for a couple years. It's just the feelings involved. But I also have, I feel like I'm just sort of rambling right now.
That's welcome. That's,
okay.
That's what everyone does.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's fascinating. I don't know. Go.
So I guess I never really understood. I grew up in a household where I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of this comes back to childhood stuff, but there was fact, there was science, there was historical fact and things like that. But it was really my dad really had the opinions in the household, and you either agreed or you were quiet. Right.
Awesome. Thank God that he just took the bull by the horns and had them for you. Like, that's good.
He told me all the time I looked terrible in red. Like, It's just red was a no color for me. I love red and I wear red a lot.
And you would look great in red.
Thank you.
Because of your coloring and red pops.
Thank you.
By the way, red is also color of power. Maybe that's what he did.
Really?
I don't know a lot about fashion, but I read it in an article. And as Maria Bamford likes to say, we all know how powerful articles are. They tell us things. And, so you would look great in red. I mean, but the thing is so when you're a kid, first of all, you're given clothes. Mm-hmm. And then, on sitcoms, they always fight and say, I'm not going to have that or I'm not going to wear that. And I've seen children do it now where they're like, I'm not going to wear that. When I was a kid, it was like, well, if you don't wear that, it turns out you will be nude. So why don't you wear that?
Well, growing up, I had a grandmother who would put me in uncomfortable doll outfits, like those like terrible, itchy fabrics.
Pinafores.
Yeah, and it was
just taffeta and it's all. My mother used to do that when I was like 4 and 5. Every picture of me. Either I'm overdressed or wearing a pillowcase.
Yeah, it's misery.
She would get very drunk. So she'd forget about clothing at the end of it. But the thing is so now you get to pick your own stuff.
Yeah, it's, so I dress for comfort. But the thing is, I dress for comfort, whenever I would dress was something a little bit tighter, something a little bit more feminine, I'd get a lot of comments from my friends like, oh, you look nice, or you look different now that you're trying. Right. And so I realized like, oh,
you get really self-conscious about that.
Yeah. And then everyone's looking at you because it's like you're changing the game.
Weird. Where you're like, no, everyone gets to wear whatever they want, but you're like, oh my God, you're wearing a dress. And it's that kind of thing where you're like, yeah, I have a body, and it turns out it will carry all kinds of different kinds of fabrics and all kinds of different styles and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it's amazing how much people expect you to stay in a particular category of expression.
Well, people hate change, of course.
Yes.
And so the people who are around you are like, why would you? Oh, my great aunt was just talking about how her granddaughter dyed her hair blonde. And I was like, well, good for her. Is she enjoying it? She said she loves it. She's never going to be a brunette again. And I was like, well, then that'll be nice for her, right?
Yeah.
Because who gives a shit, right?
Who gives a shit? And why not? Why can't we leave space for change and evolution for the people around us? Like,
right.
Why do we have to
That
nail
would be
them down?
great. And we are all terrified of change. I mean, who doesn't like the accidental tourist? Everybody likes norm, patterns, and it's just more comforting. But if you can, like me, it's hard for me to wear anything that isn't the same thing, just because I am used to it, and I'm pretty lazy when it comes to it. What do you like the idea of shopping?
I used to love thrift shopping and garage sale shopping and kind of seeing all these little treasures that are really cheap because I like
treasures and looking for stuff.
But then the last decade or so, I stopped. I just realized I hated shopping because nothing fit well, and I just was really awkward in my body. The thing is going back and starting to get into dressing my partners again. I started to pay attention to things that I love about men's fashion, which brought me to start loving shopping for myself again, because men's fashion is easier. They have less options, right? It's like collared shirt, polo shirt, t-shirt, ta-da, you know, but within the few cuts that men get to choose from, you have all these color options, and masculine color schemes are beautiful to me. Like you've got navy blue, and you've got these warm browns, there's black, and baby blue, and you've got tans. Like they're just really kind of warm, and like you can do like the English professor kind of vibe, like the browns. You could do biker guy, kind of like the chromatic stuff, the grays and the blacks, and there's more structure there, and I need more structure in my life. And so I actually look at GQ and different men's, the Art of Manliness. I love that blog. Like their fashion tips are amazing. Yeah, it is.
The Art of Manliness.
Yeah,
that sounds
it's
awesome.
Charming. There's a lot of mustaches.
My sister will love that.
Yeah.
My sister has has always had a magazine subscription to both GQ and Esquire. My sister dresses as a man.
Oh yeah?
Her children call her Mappa.
That's adorable.
It is adorable. But it's what's the name of the blog?
The Art of Manliness.
The Art of Manliness.
Yeah.
I will pass it on.
I love it. I just so then blazers.
Yeah.
Okay, like I brought a blazer that I love, and when I saw this, I actually saw this at H&M a couple years ago. Do you mind that I realize this is a podcast?
Sure, it's an audio vehicle, but I think people need to see it.
So I saw this just walking through the girly section of H&M, and I stopped and I ran over to it, and it fit perfectly.
Right.
This is a navy blue blazer, but if you look at it, it's got this texture.
Right,
like it's not just a plain cotton whatever. Like there's actually
it's cotton, but it's like woven or something.
Yeah.
What is that?
I have no idea. It's kind of a raised checked pattern a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe a bland houndstooth. I don't know what you'd call that.
Okay.
But it's like I'm almost synesthetic.
With the textures and stuff?
Like where if you like hear music, you see colors or something like that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's an awesome word.
You have sound, you have sensation crossovers.
Oh, that's neat.
Like some patterns I see, I can almost taste.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't even call myself synesthetic, like officially, but there is, like if I see, like I loved checked tweed. That's something that I have, like anytime I see it, it's like I can feel it everywhere on my body. Like my whole body goes, checked tweed, it's the best. And I go over and touch it. And I just think it's beautiful. And I recently fell in love with a blazer that had checked tweed, but they didn't have it in my size.
Right.
I went back 3 weeks later, and they had it again. I freaked out, but for some reason I didn't like it as much.
Oh,
I couldn't figure it out, and I figured maybe it was an off day. I bought it. I went home and I realized this shit isn't checked tweed. This is houndstooth tweed. I I hate houndstooth tweed.
You don't like houndstooth tweed?
It's like
What's
this
the
tiny,
difference?
it was, and it was, not houndstooth, it was like herringbone. It was kind of
Okay.
these V's, like these lined up V's going every other way. Like
Instead of tiny boxes?
Exactly.
Like checked? Okay.
And there was even a little blue, but I was feeling the orangey brown, not the blue brown. And it's like this stupid, subtle stuff that you wouldn't ever...
Nobody else is thinking about it, but you're thinking about it because you're like, that's what you loved about it. You're like, it's so close. I hate that about some clothing where you're like, it is so close to exactly what I'm looking for. I had a pleather jacket that I wore on my special on Comedy Central in 2003, ladies and gentlemen. And it was pleather and it had a Chinese symbol on the back. So it must have cost a nickel. And it was free to me. A friend of mine, we have the same body type. She has the best taste in clothes. And I used to get clothes that she was bored with. I still have a dress.
I love those friends.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're no longer friends. Very sad. I know. I'd miss the clothes more, though, because she was kind of a nutbag. But God love her. And I wish her only the best of luck. But it is very sad. But she had a really good eye for seeing what would look good on her frame.
Yeah.
It's such a gift, I think you can learn it, but it's like all talent, I think, where some people are born with it and you can develop talent, but some people are just born with an extra eye. An extra eyeball.
An extra eyeball in their fashion place.
Interesting
their fashion
choice.
chakra.
Their fashion, yes. That's, it's not the one in the middle.
For me, I have to intellectualize everything. It's not, it goes from being
Please
intuitively
make a pillow
clueless.
that says that. For me, I just have to overthink everything. I have to intellectualize things.
So I start turning it into data, and I have to intake it, I have to turn it into numbers and bring it into my brain. And then slowly it turns into an intuition where I don't have to think about it so much. And I've noticed that about, all of this. And it really, I think of myself as a beauty survivalist where I kind of have to, I have to like these things. I have to, because as a sex educator, people invite me on to do a video or I go on a TV thing or whatever. I'm in pictures and it's kind of like, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I have to present myself.
They're constantly looking at you going, why do you think you should be able to talk about sex? And so...
Right, it's kind of a thing I kind of need to do. Also, I realize
because it's part of the job.
But knowing stuff like this is also a bit of a superpower because I'm getting tired of having to over-explain myself, and people are always like, "Oh, you don't look like a nerd." Like, what do you mean you're a nerd? And I just
a bunch of asshats.
Well,
anyway, but it's fine. So what have you done now?
I realize that the more I can signal who I feel I am inside through what I wear, the less I have to explain myself.
Fair enough.
So it is a bit of I guess branding would be the concept, but really it's just authentically representing who I am.
Right. It's just, you know what? It's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's part of the conversation you might not have to have if you wear that weirdo hat.
Right.
That they're like, or whatever, you're like, I'm wearing a Dr. Who scarf. I don't think you get it. Do you understand? You understand where I'm coming from? I know It's also chilly out.
And then my problem with a lot of geek fashion stuff is it's so on the nose. Let me take these TARDISes and make them into earrings.
Right.
And that was fun, a couple years ago, but now there's so much of it that even though I love what I love in the, I like subtlety and I think nuance, and so I'm starting to get
right. There's a place for TARDIS earrings if you love the TARDIS and you have a pair of earrings, but there is an everyday thing to it where, it's very I like to wear this T-shirt is an Optimus Prime.
I love it.
Obama crossover, change into a truck. It is currently my favorite shirt. And so it is the second, I just bought a new one because the one that I was wearing was falling apart. And, it actually has I've always sold T-shirts that say things. In college, I sold Wisconsin Wear.
Really?
Seconds and irregulars, my friend. Don't worry about why the tag is cut. Don't worry about it. Anyway, it's a $6 shirt. There's going to be a reason for that. Don't worry about it. Just buy the damn shirt. And then when I lived in Minneapolis, I worked at a hippie skippy T-shirt poster sweatshirt place. And it was all pro-choice and environmental. And we co-opted a lot of the Native American stuff. Still doing it. I was just visiting. Anyway, they're still working it. And, but so for a little while, I wore only Wisconsin stuff. And then for a couple of years, I wore only political t-shirts. And then when I quit that job, I was like, I'm never wearing another shirt that has a design on it because I'm sick of, like, it's hard when you do stand up and you have a t-shirt that says something because it's distracting from what you're talking about. Where people are like, what does her t-shirt say? What is that t-shirt like? And I gave it up a couple of years ago where I was like, well, just make the things you say more interesting. And you get to wear your fun t-shirt and then you say something smarter. And so, but I've co-opted this conversation though. I've digressed into whatever I'm trying to say though. But when
We're passionate people.
That's it. Gotta dork out. Gotta make it happen. But the thing is so if you wear something, like, how do you make the nerd thing subtle? Like you're wearing your hair and this is super cute in matching braids. And they're, and it does lend itself to thinking, oh, she is approachable. This seems like a very nice woman.
Yeah, I have actually a sex ed friend of mine is like, why do you wear your hair in braids? It makes you look really young in this kind of, like, I get it. Like two braids, you're like a little kid. And, I really have very little kid energy and I'm kind of goofy. I think I'm really excitable.
Yeah.
And also, it's easy. Like, I just have a lot of hair and really taming it into braids are just really, so that's why little kids have braids is because kids run around and you.
Right. And the moms can just do it. And
just real quick and it's done. And like that, I have to do that to myself.
But it does create an atmosphere of approachability of, oh, this is a woman who she's likable and wants to be to some extent. I
had a really good friend growing up who was amazing at fashion. And one thing she taught me, this is before I really started to think about my own gender feelings. Okay. Because I have a lot of, I'm very much a dude and very much a lady. And it's just every day is a different feeling.
Okay.
She if you wear something really feminine, pair it with something incredibly masculine. So if you notice my boots right now, oh God, are my favorite shoes in the whole world forever because they're like motorcycle
they're
boots.
Dude boots. Yeah, those are guy motorcycle boots.
These are Mad Max style boots. Yeah. They got
buckles and they're a little over your ankle and they look
kind of
like,
worn
they look like you should be on a motorcycle.
Right. And when they these shoes cause a specific feeling in me of like on the road, kind of in the desert.
Yeah.
A little angry.
You can take some names.
But can hang.
Yeah, that's it.
So
it's a little tougher.
I wear these boots with dresses a lot because dresses, it's summer or it's been summer. It's so hot. And so I get air conditioning. Dresses are great for that.
Dresses are nice.
But I also don't like being that femmy. So I'll do it with the boots. This hair is fine if I'm wearing kind of a collared, like kind of big, because I'm wearing a collared, big, kind of loose t-shirt, button-down shirt right now. And so I don't feel like I'm over-femming it up right now.
Okay.
You know, so it's for me, I'm not wearing makeup. So I don't know. It's just for me finding the balance of expressing how I'm feeling right now. Like usually you can get a sense of what my mood is.
So that's all your fashion for you is so intertwined.
For me, it's intense.
That's neat. It's because it's intertwined with how you're feeling that day and how you want to be perceived, but also don't want to deal with the other people's perceptions. I mean,
because we have to wear clothes. Like, unless you're a nudist quality, you have to. Right. So, and no matter, even if I don't care, I'm still telling people a story because I'm, part of talking about sex and mating and dating is the nonverbal, most of our communication is nonverbal.
Right.
So I kind of just went, okay, fine. Okay. I'm telling people who I am through nonverbally. I might as well do it well.
Right. So what are your favorite clothes right now? Are there, you have your favorite boots.
I do have my favorite boots.
Clearly you enjoy that blazer. That blazer is very nice. It also had a polka dotted kind of lining on the inside.
It does.
It kind of pops.
It's fun. Polka dots, very neutral. You can have polka dot socks as a dude. It's not too feminine. But it's fun. It's like, hey, I'm whimsical.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's some whimsy. Check it out. Andy Ashcraft is the biggest. The guy is a walking hanger. The guy is a clothes horse. He loves color. He loves fashion. He loves. He only wears red shoes.
Okay.
Red dress shoes. Huh. Those are his favorite.
Interesting.
He owns. But see his red shoes.
Oh, well, those are beautiful.
Yeah, they're Italian leather. I just got them resold for him.
Fancy.
And very fancy. Him and as I've told this story before, for our wedding, he bought 5 different pairs of shoes through the mail because they're the only place that he could find shoes that he liked. And he's looking, they all come. My dad is sitting on the couch and he starts opening them and he's like, this is the greatest day. And my dad, who is a giant clothes horse as well, they're looking at them. They're very excited. And my husband says, what? You know, this is the name. I forget the name of the brand, but he said all the models were black men. He's like, why do black men get better shoes than women? And my dad, without missing a beat, just goes, because they take care of them. That's why. And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but it resonates. It's like it's two guys who are like just talking about shoes. They have so little to talk about.
Oh,
gentlemen,
that's sweet.
as far as, I mean, just all men as far as like accessories. There's belts, there's shoes. You know, my dad does a cufflink. Not a lot of people do.
Cufflink,
He enjoys a cufflink.
The International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. has...
I've been.
Yeah. Did you see their cufflinks that have a USB
Yes.
memory stick? You did?
The best. So cool.
And a different one that was a wireless I think gives you Wi-Fi. Like it's a hotspot.
Oh, a hotspot.
Or something like that.
That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, it was intense. Very spyish.
That does seem James Bondy. So what are your other favorite? I mean, you're looking at your notes.
I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
I'm just trying to think. Like, really, I got into shoes recently, which means spending sometimes $300 on a pair of shoes that you really speak to you. So
right.
I really did throw down a little bit on like some brown shoes, like some Timberlands. But they're like vegan. Like they were on Zappos. They're like 60. They were like super on sale. Like nobody ever wants these shoes, but I was like, these are my babies. These are clearly the shoes I should have. And that's I'm always excited. Oh my God, you just brought out shoes. Oh, these are so cute. Oh my God.
These are the greatest shoes. Yeah. I bought those shoes at a steampunk table at a convention. And they are the great, I never wear heels. I bought those shoes so that I could learn how to wear those shoes.
This is a thick kitten-heeled, kitten heel.
Yeah.
But kitten heel is usually a small point that's about an inch long or so. But this is actually an inch wide and an inch long.
Super supportive.
Yes.
And copper.
Yeah, copper and then like kind of a black and gray, crisscrossed leather situation with, flathead bronze screws going around.
Yeah, that's what the divot, the grommets are. They're all like, it's not I don't know if grommet is the right word, but they're super steampunky looking.
So what does the shoe tell you about the person wearing it? Like, what is this shoe saying to you?
This shoe says that these are the coolest fucking shoes I've ever seen in my life.
But what does it say about the person wearing it?
You know what? They are a little feminine, but they're also ass kicky, aren't they?
Yeah, like you could still run after someone.
Right. Yeah. When I learn how to wear these enough, because right now I pretty much bring them to shows and then I put
my
them
fingers
on.
inside.
Yeah, go for it. I've only had them I've worn them probably a dozen times.
These are beautiful, but they're not that cushy inside. So I'd probably get some sort of, because like, I mean, I don't wear heels that much, but I also demand comfort.
Right.
Know? I mean, you seem like you demand comfort too.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Come on, let's be realistic.
Totally.
Like I would definitely put some kind of cushy little.
Oh, like a foam thing, like something as an in between.
Yeah, like the $4 thing you see at the store in the foot section that you put at the front of your shoe.
Do you know Guy Branum?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he was on the show. He talked Canadian political history, and but I showed him these shoes, and he was like, "Those are the best shoes ever. Where'd you get those shoes?" And I told him where I got those shoes, and he said, "Never tell anyone that that's where you got those shoes. You could have told me that those were $700 Italian shoes, and I would have believed you." And I said, as a Wisconsinite, I don't think I could buy. I don't know how to spend $700 on a pair of shoes. That feels like it would feed a family of 4 for a month.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So these were $120.
That's
a deal. The greatest
That's a total deal.
Yeah.
The thing is that $120 though is still really pricey for some people.
It's not a cheap shoe. That's why these are probably one of the most expensive shoes I've ever had.
And I mean, there's so much art and thought that have gone into the design of them.
Yeah.
So nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta. But those are the only, because now you're into shoes. And you bought vegan shoes. I have friends who are vegans. They can't wear leather. They can't wear.
Oh, I don't care about that stuff.
Okay.
It was just they're Timberlands, but they were on sale for $60.
Okay.
And they're lightweight and they're made of fabric and they're amazing. And they're brown with kind of a gray inlay. Like I can't really describe them except they look like they're super dykey.
Okay.
Like they're the kind I wear them with kind of like knee length because I have. Like, my spirit animal for fashion is pretty much Newsy.
What's Newsy?
Like, the 1920s newspaper boys.
The TV. The movie.
Yeah, with little caps.
Newsies. Oh, sure.
Suspenders.
Sure.
Loose cotton tops.
Hobo. The goon.
Yeah, fancy hobo.
Sure.
I'm really into fancy hobo.
Fancy hobo. Let's bring up hobo a notch and then bring it back down.
Yeah, so it's like, how do I pair... I don't know. I realize not everyone is this emotionally invested in how to express themselves through clothes.
And they shouldn't be. But you should be. And it's working.
It's really important to me.
Yeah.
I really want to share this because when I figured this out in my life, I figured out everything.
Okay.
You ever, like, what's something that you like that you could never find in stores that you wish you could find to buy for your clothing?
We're on the Dork Forest, so I'm going to tell you that what I've always wanted are a pair of moccasins. Ankle moccasins with the fringe, and then not a hard sole, just a regular sole, which, by the way, would deteriorate almost immediately. Because we live in a city.
Number one, I know exactly where to get those.
That is news. That is great news. I thought I saw them the other day, but I keep seeing them. They're like your jacket, where you see a thing and you're like, not exactly what I want. And I'm not going to spend $100 on something that isn't exactly what I'm looking for.
No, I think they're about $50.
Okay, that seems fair.
No, I've been eyeing them for years actually, and they have the hard sole and the no sole versions. So I know exactly.
All right.
They zip up the back.
Oh, there you go.
But what was my point? Okay, so there was a season or about half a year where moccasins were really in, about 2 years ago or so. Because I spent some time on a Native American reservation growing up, and I knew, so I have a relationship with moccasins that's not fashion based. It's more like culture based. And so I started seeing everyone wearing these fringed moccasins. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
But I realized over time, because there was a military phase everyone was going through, is that because if I see something and go, where did you get that? I love that military jacket. They'll be like, oh, I got it like a year ago at H&M. And I'll go to H&M. Of course, it's not there anymore. And I realized that the fashion industry moves so fast. Screw those guys. I don't care about fashion, but more classics that really resonate with me. Is that if I go to like Forever 21 and H&M, like really kind of cheap, like fashion for everybody type places. If I go
fashion for everybody for a year, because that stuff falls apart.
It does. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm very still most of the time on my laptop. I don't do a lot.
Right. You're not really ripping things.
Right. But if I go to the website once every season, like, oh, it's turning cold, it's time to check the websites, I can see if something, because most of the time it's like, I hate everything here, but once a year I might be like, oh, all of that one specific floral that I actually like versus all the floral I hate is actually in right now. And it may not come around for another 15 years. Right. So it's the time to go buy that thing.
I bought Real Simple, and it said dark backgrounds with large flowers are in right now. Did you see that? Have you seen any of that? Dark backgrounds with large flowers are in right now. I saw it on the thing.
I hate large flowers on dark backgrounds. Do you like that?
It looked kind of pretty on some of it, and then on other things I was like, well, that doesn't actually work on
it depends.
On a weird... Yeah, but there were a couple of pair of pants that I was like, I mean, I don't know that I would look very good in them, but some people can wear flowers on a dark background and it would look nice. Maybe if they were smaller flowers, it would, I could carry it off. But I mean, but yeah, I saw large flowers were in.
I love that.
Right.
See, I'll have to skip that. I'm also
because that's not what you're looking for. But building a wardrobe, timeless stuff, which is, it's funny because when I first went to college, all of my friends were into fashion. They knew about this stuff that you were talking about, where that's so last year. That's like,
it's mean to say that. Anyway.
Well, yeah, and it was in that movie with Reese Witherspoon where she was a lawyer in pink. The movie I cannot think of.
Legally Blonde.
That's it, Legally Blonde. A great movie, by the way. Actually, it's actually super fun, and I will watch it every time it's on. But the fact that the guy recognizes that shoes are last year or something like that means that he's gay, and you're like, well, a little sweeping, but I get what you're doing. And so they were all into that stuff. And it was then that I was introduced to Eileen Fisher.
Who's that?
Eileen Fisher makes, their wardrobe staples. There's a mock turtleneck or a turtleneck. There's a wrap. But the thing is I was just talking to somebody, and it was another episode of the Dork Forest where she was like, Eileen Fisher, that's old lady clothes. And I was like, is it old lady? Because I was excited about it when I was about 20. And I'm still excited about it because I have mock turtlenecks. They're never a black mock turtleneck. That's never going to go out of style. No. You're always going to be able to wear a black
Audrey Hepburn, some of her most popular photos, she's in that.
Black mock.
Yeah.
Right. It's always going to be chilly. You're going to want to cover your neck a little bit. And a silk, and they're usually silk or it's like a nicer than rayon.
Sensual fabric.
Yeah. They're more, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't get me started on the fabric quality.
Get started.
Okay, because one thing I wanted to do in college is learn to be a lingerie designer. Okay. Because I had kind of this fascination with lingerie and how to dress up your body where you're kind of naked, kind of not, but like, ooh, turn somebody on. Right.
Yeah.
And whenever I would try stuff on at the store, it was always uncomfortable. And I realized that lace, like things that look like it should be fancy, is usually really scratchy.
Yeah, they're not super comfortable.
No, and it's not a sexy fabric. And so if you want to dress for a date or like,
if you want to do lingerie,
or like even
do you have to be turned on when you put the lingerie on for it to turn him on or your partner?
It can't hurt.
No, it cannot hurt.
Honestly, dressing to turn people on just totally freaks me out. Like I can't even really do that. But realizing that what we think like, oh, lace, that's lace.
That's the go-to.
But really feel a fabric and see like jersey t-shirt material, I think is one of the most sensual fabrics because it's so soft.
Okay.
It kind of just like almost feels a little worn.
Okay.
Like it's such a sexy fabric to me.
Okay. Yeah. So that's neat. So you would make lingerie out of like other kinds of fabric, not just lace and weird.
Oh, I'm not even talking about for lingerie. It's just that was sort of the start of me noticing
different fabrics.
Different fabrics.
Do you like wool? What do you think of wool?
What's funny is we ascribe certain characteristics to, like, silk, that's silky, right? Sometimes silky feels dirty. And wool, I think of as scratchy and horrible, but sometimes it actually feels quite sensual depending on the wool.
And cashmere, super soft,
yeah,
and cozy,
yeah,
super cozy,
totes.
Mm-hmm. And then what about like I like a regular 100% cotton.
It's so good. But then there's American Apparel cotton and there's like Fruit of the Loom cotton. Different feels.
It is different feel. The processing, I assume that it's just sort of half naked people rubbing their boobs on the American Apparel clothing that gives it that. I always think of American Apparel as the Girls Gone Wild of t-shirt sales because that guy's a bit of a dirt bag. And so I don't ever use, like, you get a free t-shirt for doing the Dork Forest and mine are, yes, you do. I know.
Exciting.
Very, feel free to either be on the show or buy one out there, Rangers. And I think you mostly have. So good for you. And, and I also ordering hoodies this week. So if anybody wants a zip hoodie, now's the time to order them because I'm ordering some Dork Forest stuff this week. Anyway, but those t-shirts they're all U.S. Union made t-shirts that they're thicker though. They're not, it isn't that American Apparel fabric, which I genuinely love. I mean, it wears out a little bit. I'm very still too, but for some reason, very hard on clothes.
Really?
They disintegrate around me.
Do you wash them in really hot water?
Nope. And I wash everything in cold.
And do you dry on high?
I do dry on high.
You should dry on low.
All right. All right.
It wears out the fabrics a lot. I mean, it's just little things. Like,
yeah. I just assume that I'm just constantly, I have such a lot of energy and I'm just making things wear out. I have no idea if that's true. I don't feel like I have
It's your dynamic personality.
That's
what
it
wears on.
It's just creating holes in the shoulders. Oh. And so, yeah, but it's like it's a lot thicker, those t-shirts, but so when you wash them, it's nice to wash them inside out. So it doesn't affect the design.
Definitely. My t-shirts as well.
And then it does soften. It softens as you go.
It depends on your mood. Like for a t-shirt and jeans, like you can really t-shirt and jeans can look amazing. And like, I like a kind of a sporty t-shirt feel. But if I want something that's a little bit more attractive, like if I want to pair a masculine cut of something, I might want a slightly more clingy fabric with the cut. It's like cut versus fabric. Like because I love menswear. But also like I like a guy in boxers. Like,
okay.
I just simple. Like
I like boxer briefs, weirdly enough.
Okay, boxer briefs, super hot too. But go with me on this. Boxers. I just thought all boxers are boxers, right?
Right.
And then I remember like at some point I realized that I don't like all boxers because some of the boxers that you get in the packages, like $3 for $5 or something, there's this crinkly fabric where it's cotton, but it's like stiff and awful. And it doesn't hang on the body.
Maybe if they put what the thread count was on different shirts would be kind of amazing.
That would be good. That's helpful.
Actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
All right.
go with it. Yes.
Yeah. So, but what do you think about boxers? What I've told about with men who wear boxers, and plenty of women wear them too, is I tried to, I think in college or somewhere when it was in again, but they do crumple up on you underneath your clothing.
I don't understand that at all. Like, I don't understand boxers. Like,
I don't know how you can wear them and still be comfortable. You're wearing underwear.
No, boxer briefs make a lot more sense.
Yeah, because they're underwear. So they're tighter and they lie flat, and then you could put jeans over it or pants over it.
You know what I learned about briefs? I never knew this is why briefs exist, or one of the reasons is that you wear briefs in more athletic activities to help hold your goods.
Right.
For support.
Okay.
I had no idea. So
Okay,
wearing boxers
sort of
when
like
you exercise.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because you're flopping around like a crazy person. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense because it's sort of like a cup.
Yeah.
But they're just underwear. So it's probably why the cup had to be introduced afterwards, because they probably just always wore some sort of codpiece. And then the brief was invented and they're like, no, the briefs are fine. I'm all together. And then they got hit in the nuts and they were like, I might need a cup.
Yeah.
I think I might look
that.
into some sort of protective plastic, thing. So I do want to talk about makeup though.
Yes.
Because I lost my one lipstick.
Oh.
And it was bad. A lot of people own more than one. A lot of people say to themselves, probably going to need a backup. And if there's a hole in your luggage and it falls out.
You know what sucks about finding colors? Like, let's say we were to try and replace it. Have you tried to replace this lipstick?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Trying to describe, because if you talk to a hairstylist or a makeup artist about things about hair and makeup, their language is so different than a regular person's language that you can't ever communicate anything. They'll be like a berry. I'll be like, sure, like a berry. And they pull up berries. I'm like, that's not what I meant by a berry.
I mean.
And so,
Yeah.
the communication gap with a makeup artist is so awful. So, good luck finding the thing. Like, how would you describe this makeup color?
Well, what I did have one makeup artist tell me that, cause he said everyone looks good in this classic red, this very bright red. And I said, I actually do not look good in that red.
I hate when people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he put it on me and he goes, you're right. You're the only person I've ever seen who doesn't look right in this thing. And I was like, it isn't for me. I don't know why it doesn't work, but it doesn't. And so be it. And, but it's usually, I like a red tone, but more of an earth tone.
Yeah.
So, but it's not, cause they say you should make your eyes pop or your lips pop or you should make your cheeks pop, or so I don't know what's happening. There's more articles. I've read some articles.
But the way that they describe, see, none of that communication of the art form of makeup really works for me. Like, none of that has ever really helped me.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, sure, for people who are going overboard and using Crayola markers on their face and just like all the eyes, all the lips. Yeah, sure. Tell them that.
Right.
But I feel like if I put on makeup, I look like a clown. Like, I feel...
Oh, like if it's super bright or a little covered, like too heavy?
Yeah, like I was just in I was offered to be done up by a makeup artist for this wedding I was in last weekend. And I was like, no, I know what happens when that happens. I get messed up. Like, it's a mess.
You ever get a chance to see my premium blend from the late 90s? I look like a transvestite. And ever since then, it's a learning curve. You have to, when other people do your makeup, you have to learn how to say to them what you want. And what I always say now is, you got to keep it natural. You can
super natural.
Yeah, just because I don't. It's like it would be for me like trying to do stand up in a dress. I mean, I have a friend of mine who does stand up in a dress now, but she said it took her a year to really get used to it. But she loves dresses and wanted to wear them.
That's good. And I feel like when I'm in dresses, sometimes I feel like I lose my power. Like, I don't feel powerful in a dress. So that I think more masculine clothes actually make me feel more grounded.
A sense of,
one thing you said about the transvestite thing is that a lot of men who do want to live lives as women, that period where they're getting, used to using makeup is really awkward because they have no idea. I mean, just imagine, guys, people who've never learned anything about makeup before.
Yeah, it's me when I was 15.
Yeah, it's an uncommon, and so there's a certain amount of like.
So it's a guy when he's 27 who's like, I want to be a woman, so give me some makeup and I'm going to do this.
And they often go to the brightest thing. They don't know how to blend. There's a lot there. So like, I feel so bad that you lost your one lipstick.
I know, but here's the thing. Here's the good news. I get lipsticks. When I buy other makeup and I get it for free. So,
but do you get to choose the color?
I don't. I just go with it. And then if it needs to be, toned down, they've given me a pencil.
right.
There's lip pencil that I can blend with it.
Oh, yeah.
And bring it down a notch.
Do you know about, okay, I started recently wearing lipstick again for video things, but
Sure. You gotta.
lip liner, just fill in your lips, and then a little bit of gloss.
That's
or
it.
chapstick even.
Sure, even chapstick, yeah.
And then what I do is, because I can't color it for shit, is I just do the outline and kind of color it in, and there's gaps and stuff, and I put the chapstick on, and then I just smear it all around. You do that?
That's
Boom.
You're just like, because I spend a good portion of my time what can only be described as smearing makeup around my face. I'm just going, I think there's a bad patch over here. I'm missing something, and I'm just kind of pushing on it. But I know people who, like, a friend of mine does makeup. And she did it for my wedding. It's a great wedding gift if you're a makeup artist. And then you're like, I should probably pay her anyway because that's her job. And she's really good at it, and it helps when the person knows you, because they can do it almost like you would do it, but with more skill.
And they're interpreting you. I feel like makeup should express who you are. Like, I shouldn't see your makeup when I look at your face. I should see you, but just enhanced.
Right.
And that's what I think is so unfair, is that a lot of these makeup artists that are kind of overdoing it at stores is they want to showcase makeup. They don't really care about you.
Right. They're like, look what this'll do.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's great. Yes, that cover, the cover stuff or whatever.
Concealer?
Concealer, and then there's base, right? Or whatever.
There's the overall color where you want to even out your tone with foundation.
That's the foundation is the word I'm looking for.
Oh, okay.
And then concealer. And I've had them do it where I'm like, is my nose still there? You've done kind of too good of a job here. I look all just beige.
Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so I did a photo shoot because it's at some point it was like, okay, you have this podcast, maybe you should get some photos taken so that people know what you look like. And then I had my friend take pictures, and I find photo shoots really traumatic. Like I get panic attacks.
They are traumatic. Are you kidding me?
It's really scary.
You know what's worse? Looking at the photos.
That was the worst part. But I realized, because my friend, who's a total dude, is just saying, Sandra, you might want to actually, because the way you should be doing it, he was teaching me makeup. He's like, you need to cover, like,
is he the
foundation. Yes, he's like, you need to foundation your entire face and then paint your face back on, basically.
Right. You can't just cover up the patches of, I think that's an acne scar. I better cover that up. And you're like, yeah, but it doesn't blend with the rest of your face.
Right. Okay. So can I show you stuff?
Yeah.
Although I don't even know if I brought, okay. So I'm really into eyebrows right now. It's a new thing.
Eyebrows.
Yeah, because one, there's this supermodel that's really big right now. I don't know what her name is. Claire something, I think.
Okay.
And she has really bushy eyebrows. Because I was noticing...
Somebody told me bushy eyebrows were back. It must be because of Claire.
Yeah. I didn't realize she was the one spurring it. But now that I saw a few articles of like how to grow your eyebrows back in. I'm like, oh, finally we're back into eyebrows? Cool. That's cool.
That'll be great for my sweat glands. Because that's what they're for. They're supposed to stop sweat going into my eyeballs.
So since the beginning of time for me, when I would talk to any makeup artist and be like, look, I want to spend monies here.
Right.
What do I do with my eyebrows? Because I have a little patch. Like, everyone's got little patches where there's
no
less
eyebrow.
Yeah, exactly. It looks almost like I may have had a piercing there or something.
Right.
And it's right at the top of my arch on my left, over my left eye. And they always go, okay, like, let me just show you. And they always choose some friggin' brown color. Yeah. And my eyebrows, like, I have dark
super
brown.
Black.
Yeah, the super black eyebrows and super dark hair. And they always do this dark brown on me, which looks like I colored in my eyebrows. Like, oh, look at her eyebrows. There are two colors there. Right. And so I just lost faith at some point. Like, oh, I get it. There is no hope for my eyebrows.
Right.
Then, so I'm holding, this is, a MAC eyeshadow. What is this called? Nehru. It's matte. That's not shiny. Like, let's not do the sparkly crap.
Okay.
But it's charcoal. It gets almost black.
Okay.
Which is slightly gray. And I don't know why. I think I was just screwing around one day and just filled in the gap with a little brush and this color. And you couldn't tell it wasn't hair.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, all these motherfuckers are telling me brown. It should have been gray.
Right. Because the first thing you'd go to would be black, but for some reason the gray is light enough that it both blends and conceal.
Yeah, it's a supporting color.
Yes.
Like, my eyebrows should be the main attraction, and they're just like doing a little background work.
Yeah, just a little background. It's nice. Happy.
Change my friggin' life.
Right. Not the happy tree. It is the hill behind it. Well played.
It's so mean. Like, no one tells you this stuff, Jackie.
I know it.
No one tells you.
Nope. There's no way to know.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I mean, April Macy's mom is a big. April Macy's a comic. I went with her to the Middle East. We did the tour, and she is a safety mouse in the way that she keeps trying to find out when we're going to be killed. Anyway.
Oh no, that's terrifying.
It was terrifying. So it was her, and what we do, she has amazing, like she does a thing where she paints on her face. She essentially covers up her face and then starts from scratch. And I think her mom taught her that because she just posted a bunch of pictures on Facebook of her and her mom, and they look approximately the same.
Wow.
Age. And April's probably 32, 33 years old, and her mom's probably 55, 60.
Is that saying that she looks old or that her mom looks young?
Her mom looks super young, and April doesn't ever look old. She just looks finished.
Okay.
Right? You know, I mean, she has a really good way of doing the makeup where you're like, oh, I see, you're all put together here. And because nobody ever looks at me and goes, yeah, I see what you're all put together there. No one ever does that. And it's fine. I don't really.
Well, I mean, do you like to polish a little bit, or, I mean.
Nope. I do like, when people do it though. Like I go to the Korean spa and they do the all over scrub.
Oh, well,
that's
nice. Literally they are polishing. That's
They're
fun.
polishing me up. That's the exfoliation process.
Do you laugh when they do that?
I do laugh because it's hilarious.
And it's
because they're
ticklish.
up in my business.
Yeah.
And it's so not sexual at all. It's clinical.
Serious. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like, you are a dirty, dirty animal. We really need to get this going because why? And then I like that. I like a massage. I like a facial. Like a spendy.
You do all the
crazy
things.
I'll do a thing. I love a pedicure. I love a manicure. So I don't want to do it. But if you want to take this in and change the oil and rotate the tires, I'll sit there. You can do it. I don't know. There's no way that anyone can do that with exercise, though. I'm like, if you want to work my arms and legs, and because I don't exercise, very sad, very sad.
Oh, I mean,
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? There's a gym really close to my house that I just signed up for. There was a Groupon. It was exciting. It was actually really cheap. So, and I realized that if I put the treadmill on a very high incline at a very slow speed, I can hold a book and read.
What are you reading?
Well,
I like to ask.
I'm taking an improv class right now, so I'm reading the manual, the UCB improv manual.
Okay.
Which is actually a really easy read and marvelous. It's
interesting?
It's well done. Yeah. It's translating improv theory in a way I've never understood it before.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Because I like rules and structure.
Who doesn't?
And it's helpful to me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
The chaos of trying to be funny. Which is not,
so we can talk. And now let's touch briefly. We're at 55 minutes.
Okay.
Let's talk about hair.
Hair. So I don't know what kind of hair you listening have. I mean, we all have different hair, right?
Sure.
My hair is half Asian, half Filipino. It got a wave to it. What's
the rest of it?
Irish.
Okay.
Irish, a little Native American.
Okay.
European generally. But if my whole life it would be frizzy, like where all my hair, like every hair had its own personality and was a bit of
and big
a solo. Like it would
because it's totally tame here.
It's it's a little bit on the dirtier side. A few things that I've learned. The thing is, I mean, the 90s, it was all about oil free. Don't do oil. Oil is terrifying. Like growing up, all I know is that growing up, you don't put oil in your hair. You don't put oil on your face. Oil is terrible. It'll clog your pores. Okay. They're really talking about mineral oil, like non-natural oil.
Okay.
But excuse me, I'm totally irpy from coffee.
No worries.
Hi, audio
Don't worry
person.
about it. No worries.
So I just took out my braids and, my whole life I've over shampooed.
Okay.
Because it would strip it down to nothing and then it would take 2 days for it all to have some oil again. Because a little bit of oil or product causes my waves to, like, you know the thing were you taught as a kid to brush your hair 100 times?
No.
No?
No. There was my mother's hairdresser, and she cut our hair very short. Okay. She was just like, it'll be fine.
My mom was a hairdresser. That's handy.
Yeah, it was handy. We had very tidy hair as children. Aww. And but I've read about the brushing it 100 times in romance novels. Oh, okay. They're always talking about it in romance novels that you should brush your hair 100 times.
Bizarre. Don't do that. Do not do that. No, because
why not? Does it break it down?
Because it was all about like anti-tangle growing up. My dad was from Texas. He's like, you better brush your hair 100 times. Wow. And my mom was a total tomboy, so she didn't care. But what happens is that every hair has its own identity all of a sudden. And, but what you want for curls and wave is you want them to be a pack. Like you can be like, hey buddy, how's it going? Hey buddy. And you want like all your, and then they become a curl. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and then there's a whole thing like evenly distribute your hair product. There's always that thing about evenly fucking distribute. I'm saying a lot of F words today for some reason.
Right.
Sorry about that. Is that bad?
No, it doesn't matter.
What I realized that if I just put a tiny bit of coconut oil, and I mean like the tiniest amount,
like less than a teaspoon, like an eighth of a teaspoon.
Oh, like not even like I'll just touch the top of it and then like that. Yeah. And if I just take my hands and just scrunch, and I only figured this out about 9 months ago, and it changed everything. Right. And I just take my hair and put my hands on my hair and just scrunch, is if you make it uneven. If you put a little bit of coconut oil on one strand, suddenly it becomes a magnet and it draws the buddies around it to it.
Okay.
Like, hey buddy, nice outfit. And then they're all gathering around and suddenly you have curls.
Right.
And I realized, my whole life I didn't know that. It changed everything.
Wow.
I'm really excited with all these things that no one ever told me that are making my life better.
It is interesting as you go along where you finally figure out how to dress. And you finally figure out what you care about and what you don't care about. And the fact that if anyone's going to make a comment about it, you're like, no, I would like to wear blue eyeshadow. And you know, when you're a kid, you might wear blue eyeshadow just to get a response. But if you are the person who wants to wear fucking blue eyeshadow and you're 45 years old, I said, do it. Knock yourself out. Yeah. And, but it is ongoing because there doesn't seem, I feel like that about almost everything in life where there's no actual lessons. Like you're watching people live their lives and they're learning how to live their lives. And it's like, maybe it's the purpose of religion so that they are like, well, here's some structure. And you're like, yeah, but that actually doesn't help entirely.
We're not taught to skill share, you know, and I'm I just really like to share information with people and almost to a point, sometimes to a point where they're like, shut up. So that's why I'm a little insecure about being on this show where I'm like, I'm telling you things, but it's cool. It's nice.
People want to hear. People totally want to hear. It's good.
We're at the end of this episode. I brought makeup brushes.
Did you bring, are there several makeup brushes that you enjoy?
Makeup brushes are really expensive. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Like, here's a $30
I have 3 of
makeup.
them. Yes. And they are indeed, they were all $30 each, I think.
So this makeup artist, because I was saying like they're really expensive. So how do you know which one you're going to like? You know, I don't want to spend $300 before I figure out something that I like. I found this place, this makeup artist told me called Crown Brushes that they wholesale. They online? Yes.
Crown Brushes,
I bought 13 brushes for $60.
Okay.
And they wholesale to people, but they'll sell it directly to you. There's this one, because a lot of brushes that are cheaper, they feel like they're giving me wrinkles. Like, you know, they're kind of scratchy. I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah.
Feel this action. Like, just dust it around. Here.
No, that's a nice one. That's a real nice one.
It's got a soft head to it. It's kind of floppy a little bit.
An IB119 Deluxe Crease. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's nice.
I got this in the mail yesterday, and it's what I've always wanted.
It's the one you've always wanted? I'll go grab a brush. I'm not above it.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this thing. All right. Tell a story. The minute I got home yesterday, I tore open this envelope and started taking every single makeup brush I ordered and shoving it around my hand. There was no makeup on it. I just wanted to feel the way it touched my hand. It's so weird that you ran away and now I just have to say things, but they can't see these makeup brushes.
Yeah, I know.
Here you come.
I have 4 brushes.
Okay. This is the holy. Ooh.
Those are the 4 brushes I bought, and they were all expensive.
Is it okay if I touch
Sure,
tips?
please.
Okay, so like this, you have a really short, angled, flat, to draw lines and things.
To draw lines.
These are essential.
These are, that's an essential. I never use any of these brushes anymore. I used them for a couple of years, and then I got bored, and I just started smearing makeup around my face again. But this was for powder.
Oh, this is important. Yeah. Do you do like the big fluffy ones? These are fun. Yeah. It feels like you can like ward away evil with these. So you don't use any of them anymore?
I do, not as often. This was, I was told this,
it's like a big flat one.
And it needs to be cleaned again, cause I clean it. What it is I was told that this was a one, it's flat and it's tapered. And, I was told this is the one you get your foundation on your, and then you dip. And then you can, it makes it more, evenly spreadable. It's easier. And it really does, actually. It does a nice job on the spreading of, and then this longer one, which is like the one you just did, used to be a lot softer, actually. I think, they say that you should replace makeup. like
They do say
every
that.
like 3 months. Or,
Oh no, that's mascara.
is it mascara?
Mascara is the one that I think I might have some mascara in my bag.
I have free mascara. That's what I have.
If you actually, you know what, want to know something kind of sneaky? If you look on your, I just learned this, the body products, do you see that? It's a little picture of an open container.
Yeah.
And it says 6M.
Yeah.
That means you should replace it after it's open after 6 months.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and what's that?
This is an eyebrow tweezer cleaner thing, or not cleaner thing.
Cutter thing?
Cutter thing.
It's a lawnmower for your face.
Yeah, it's a lawnmower for your face. And I don't know what I did with the batteries. I haven't used it in years either because it might be completely just broken. Oh,
Those are useful, though. There it goes.
There it is.
Let's shave something.
We can shave stuff.
I'm just put it on my. Yeah, look at it go.
Right. I don't
More
know where.
feminine by the moment.
I think it came in a bag of a swag bag. It's called It's called Finishing Touch, isn't it though? And it was made in China. There you go. That's all the information that I was given about this item.
So you get to see all your girly products.
This is it. My girly products. You've seen
love
them.
it. Dude, that angled brush though, that's essential. Like,
yeah. Do you have one of those?
Yeah. Did I bring it?
What do you use it for? I think I used it for eyeliner.
Yeah, but do you know about the wiggle?
No.
It's my whole life I would draw above my lash line, like I am drawing a line on my eye, ta-da! And then that just looks kind of weird. Yeah. I realize if you dip it in a dark eyeshadow and then you actually kind of have to come up from the top, like you're sneaking in like the top window,
all right.
and then just like get the friggin' brush like into your lash line, like actually not above but actually in it, and just press and then wiggle. So you don't have to friggin' brush or like scrape at your face. You just press, wiggle a little bit, and move on. And redip.
And it just leaves. Leaves eyeshadow.
It's like stamps.
Along. Oh, excellent.
I love that one.
You guys, this has been very informative and helpful. Sandra Daugherty. Sandra Daugherty. Sandra. Sex Nerd Sandra. And what I recommend, folks, is you follow her on Twitter. You listen to the pod. You get you can get a blowjob, not a blowjob, a lesson.
Oh, can I tell them the stuff?
Please.
October 9th, I'm in New York at the Pleasure Chest teaching blowjobs 201.
Is that a chain? The Pleasure Chest?
A small chain? I think they've got about four.
Yeah,
four
a
in
small
the US.
chain. Yeah.
And then the 10th, I'm at Madam X in New York for New York Comic-Con Super Week.
Sure.
And then the 20th, I'm back in Los Angeles teaching blowjobs 101.
101.
It's really fun for couples, especially with the LA Academy of Sex Ed.
There you go, folks. A chance to learn how not to use your teeth, I assume. There's more to it. There's always more to it. And I bought my first vibrator one time not long ago in New York City at what was it was kind of a bachorette kind of sex shop in the East Village, I think.
Is it shady feeling?
I don't know, but whatever it was hilarious because I was, there's some 22-year-old and I was like, hey, I'm told I need a vibrator because one of my friends was like, seriously, you don't have one. And I was like, no, I'm good. I have a hand. And she was, and so we went and we bought it. I've used it a couple of times. It's not great. It's not I'm probably doing it wrong. Whatever it is. But I'm not doing the rest of it wrong. The rest of it's working out for me.
Try using your hand just like you usually do and place the vibrator when it's on the back of your hand to add vibration on top of what you already do.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. See, these are the kind of tips you can get if you go to Sex Nerd Sandra. Thank you so much for doing the show.
You're welcome. This was really fun.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?